I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
There is nowhere to hide.
You're all I have left. I don't want you working in the water.
No way to escape.
There's never been a great white where we live. I can't just let you go back down.
No one to help. Man's deepest fear has risen again. Lorraine Gary and Michael Caine. Jaws, The Revenge. This time, it's personal. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, July 17th at theaters everywhere.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time from Yule from Great Britain. And it is for Jaws for the Revenge. He wanted the commentary, and he did it for that and for a review. And if anyone wants to request pretty much anything under the sun, video-wise, feel free. You just send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. I can't talk right to this fucking movie. Send it through PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. Fucking stupid ass plot bullshit. What is it with this plot of this movie? Jaws for the Revenge. This time is personal. It's just... This is a film that when I first started YouTube, long ago in my early account, not the account I have now, but a previous account, I believe this was one of the first films I had reviewed. And it's one of those films where, at the time, I'm like, this is one of the worst films ever made. Now, don't get me wrong, this film sucks. It's bad. One of the worst films ever. I don't even know if I put in my top 100. Because it's bad. Don't get me wrong, it's bad. But yeah, I understand, since, God, over 10 years ago, on my previous channel, I have seen Feeders, Feeders 2, Newty, The Maze, with an I in it. I've seen the films of Neil Breen. I've seen Red Zone Cuba. I've seen Newty, yeah, I say it again. The Amazing Bulk, Pocket Ninjas, Veronica with a K, the Tina Mavar, Robo fucking Vampire. I've seen a lot of horrible shit since. I've seen Hip Hop Locos. I've seen Unaware. What is that? A found footage film where most of it's just a couple being a boring couple, go to a farm, go into a house, they see a fucking alien in a barn, and then they run around for a bit. Just go ahead and watch Unaware. That's what I mean. Like, I've seen so many worse than this. Even worse sequels, like ones that were more rage-inducing for me. The Predator, Last Jedi, Alien 3. Because those were films I should have known better. Of course, you could say the same thing for this. This should have known better. again, I've seen a lot worse, but this is still a bad movie. Now, before I get into the whys, it's directed by Joseph Sargent. This is a guy who did the original Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3. This is a guy that never worked in this genre, and it shows. He does not know how to handle sequences with the shark. He doesn't know how to handle suspense or possible suspense sequences that could create horror and tension. He's never really worked in that genre before. He hasn't. The reason this came about was the CEO, Sidney Scheinbeck. I think he was with MCA, who was with Universal at the time. Universal, they were having projects that were not doing well. So he's like, what's a way to make some easy money? Well, you know what? Jaws 3, even though people didn't like it, it still made money. Do a Jaws 4. Whether it's good or bad, it'll still make some money. So his wife, at the time, was Lorraine Derry. Yes, the mom in Jaws, and Jaws 2. But now she's the lead. So yeah, it's one of those things where the studio head has his wife as the lead. Although, again, granted, she was in the previous films. Now, Lorraine Derry is not the worst actress ever. She worked fairly well in the previous Jaws films. I don't think she works the best as a lead. I don't think she has that factor to carry a film on her shoulders. She's not one of the worst actresses, not by a long stretch, but he just does not have the weight to carry that. The other people. Lance Guest, I like Lance Guest. He was in Halloween 2 from 1981. He was in The Last Starfighter. He does the best he can with the material he's given. Mario Van Peebles, he has a very fake Jamaican accent. I'm ready for him to get to the bobsled team. They deal with John Candy and win some shit in the Olympics. But why even have a Jamaican accent? Why not just have Mario Van Peebles talk normal? What do I mean normal? I mean like his normal dialect. Because he's not from Jamaica. That's his Jamaican accent is not his own. Once in a blue moon, the accent disappears. Just have him talk like he does in the variety of other movies he's done. It would have been fine. No one would have complained. No one would have been upset. It hinders his performance. Michael Caine, he took the paycheck. He was fine. I like Michael Caine. I love films like The Swarm. A lot of people hate The Swarm. I like The Swarm. Why? If you want to have a movie about killer bees, yes, give me a movie with the budget and scope of the Irwin Allen, because he made it, those disaster movies. I want the bees to take over cities and fuck up people by the broad strokes. That to me is more entertaining than the shit I see on Sci-Fi Channel. Yes, give it a big scope. That makes it more genuinely entertaining for me. I like The Swarm. I like The Island from 1980 when Michael Caine was in. Hey, Michael Caine gets a .50 caliber and shoots the shell of a bunch of pirates at the end. My kind of movie. So they might have been paycheck films, but I liked them. This, I know he won the Oscar for the film Hannah and Her Sisters. He could not accept the Oscar because he was too busy making this film. I think later on he said, hey, I won an Oscar around that time. I got a check for this, and I bought a house. I've never seen the film, but I've seen the house that it built. And I got to spend some time and some beautiful scenery. So, can't really blame Michael Caine. The little girl, I forget her name, but the little... Okay, I'm saying all this stuff. I haven't even mentioned the plot of this yet. But before... Where do I start, man? There's a little girl in the film that plays Lance Guest's daughter. She, I believe, was the voice of Ducky in Land Before Time. And sadly, soon after, she died in horrible circumstances because of piece of shit people. So, very sad. Because she did a good job voicing Ducky. For what she's given, she does fine here. She seemed like a cute little girl. Very sad to see, very sad to hear. The plot of the film within the movie, I'll explain why I state that in a minute. But within the movie, the two sons of Chief Brody, Roy Scheider's character, which, by the way, he's died off screen from a heart attack. He was afraid of the water. He died. What are you talking about? He didn't die in the water. He died of a heart attack. No, he had fear of the water. Lorne writers, Roy Scheider at the end of the first movie, he was swimming with Richard Dreyfuss to land. And he literally said, I used to hate the water. And then Richard Dreyfuss says, I can't imagine why. Richard Dreyfuss literally said, I used to hate the water. And then in Jaws 2, he got in the water and fried a motherfucker, wannabe Freddy Krueger looking shark in Jaws 2. He wasn't afraid of the water. It's just, Roy Scheider, he didn't want to come back for Jaws 2, so he definitely was not going to come back for Jaws 4. And there is talk of things like, well, maybe Chief Brody will die at the beginning of the film, and he'll die, and then, move on with the story. I didn't want that to happen. If that happened, maybe I would even be more pissed. But the fact they kill him off screen, that's fucking stupid. Just, you know what, I would just, don't make the film at all. Or just have him be divorced and he's off somewhere else. That happens sometimes. But anyway. One of his sons works in the police force. I didn't even realize this film took place around Christmas time. He goes out on a boat. He gets his arm bitten off. He just pulled under. He dies. Lauren Deary, she's sad, of course. Upset, pissed. Decides to go to the Bahamas to see her other son, played by Lance Guest, the last starfighter himself, who is doing research with his buddy, played by Mara Van Peebles, the Jamaican in the movie. And Lance Guest has a wife. He has a little girl, trying to get the mom to relax and not worry about what happened anymore. While in the Bahamas, Lauren Deary meets this pilot played by Michael Caine. Now, if you look at the novelization, if you look at the original story, it's very different from what we have in the fact of, in the movie, there's no explanation as to why the fuck a great white shark goes from Amityville all the way to the fucking Bahamas. There's no explanation. If you look at the novelization, apparently it was voodoo. Either, I guessed nothing. I had to look it up. Some voodoo guy, I'm on the island. I just was pissed off at Lance Guest's character. Because Lance Guest goes, you're using these islanders, you're using the public, you're using these people. So then the voodoo guy curses his family, the Brody family, which I guess is why our shark kills the other brother at the beginning of the film, and why this shark specifically searches out for the Brody family. Again, within the film, there's no explanation of that. Other than, this time is personal. Which I wonder if that's the first time that tagline was ever used. This time, it's personal. Which is a great tagline. Simple, to the point. Except it was for this movie. I mean, that's a cool tagline. Oh, it's for Jaws the Revenge. And so, Michael Caine's character, if you read the novelization, his character is more of a drug smuggler. That's what he used with his plane. That's why there's a lot of dialogue in the film that goes, when someone asks, what do you do? My laundry. Money laundering, that type of stuff, doing drugs back and forth across the way. That's why I also thought the film, there's instances where he's losing a lot of money. Oh, that's why he pays up these gambling debts by doing this. But they cut all that out to save time, which I can understand, but at the same time, I'm like, it does make Michael Caine's character even more, I don't want to say useless, but flimsy. And that's the thing when this film, okay, if I'm to look at any positives within this movie, the locations, they're supposed to be the Bahamas, they're nice to look at. Lance Guest, with the slim part he has, I like him. He's doing the best that he can. He just has nothing to work with. Same with Michael Caine. The score is not that bad by Michael Small. It's not a bad musical score. I think the others are better, but I think the score for Jaws 3 is pretty underrated. And I like Jaws 3. A lot of people hate it. They say it's as bad or worse than this. I disagree. Jaws 3 at least has Dennis Quaid. I like Bess Armstrong. I like the dolphins. I think they're cute. I like the SeaWorld environment that makes it a bit different and unique. And the fact of SeaWorld going all apeshit. I think it's kind of a fun idea. It's the 3D effects that just don't hold up one damn bit. But it does have one of the creepier shark death scenes I've witnessed, where the guy doesn't get eaten, he gets crushed. Like, he's in the mouth past the teeth. He's like literally crushed to death. I always thought that was a creepy scene. Ever since I saw it as a kid, I'm like, ugh. Which I know is weird, but it's not you're getting torn apart eaten. It's that literally you're stuck. And then, worse for wear, you're literally stuck in the mouth. As if you got something in your fucking teeth or something. Like, ew. But this doesn't have any of that. So like I said, the look of the shark is bad. I will say though, I'll still take this bad shark over. That's the thing. Like, I know, like James Wolfe did like a list of the worst shark movies. Number one, having Jaws 2 and Jaws 3 on there, I'm like, no, there's way worse shark movies. Jaws 4, I can understand. And I'm sorry, all this stuff with the bad CGI sharks, avalanche sharks, all that shit, are still way worse than this. Because as bad of a practical effect as the shark is, I still appreciate a more practical, real effect. It might not be a good one, but at least there's a certain physical tangibility to it. Compared to the glut of Sci-Fi Channel shark movies like Shark Exorcist, Ghost Shark, House Shark, Avalanche Sharks, Sharks in Venice, all this other... I did gluttony of crap. Shark Attack 2, Shark Attack 3, Megalodon. The few times it's underwater, the photography isn't that bad. So there are elements I could go, it's okay, compared to, again, Shark Exorcist, which is 10 times worse than this. But the reason that makes this bad, yes, the plot is completely stupid, utterly ridiculous. The shark goes from Amity, I keep wanting to see Amityville. Maybe if it came from Amityville, maybe it would make more fucking sense. Oh, the shark, the fucking Amityville house possessed so many other fucking items, like a mirror and a clock. Why not a shark? But Amity, all the way to Bahamas, how the fuck did the shark find them? How did it get there? Why is it there? Again, within the film, none of that's explained. It's just for shits and giggles. Oh, voodoo! I'm just saying, it's not in the movie, though. Even if it was, it'd still be fucking stupid. As is even more fucking... That's the thing, if you want to make a ridiculous plot, maybe you should go all the way. Go full force to the power of 10. And then maybe you could have had like a cult following, cult classic. But it's a film that does take itself seriously, even though it has this silly plot. And then it thinks it's this character-driven film, but it's boring. It's boring. after the initial attack where the one son gets killed, not a whole lot happens for a good chunk of time. Lorraine Gary going out with Michael Caine. She has a couple nightmare scenes. What? Lance Guest and Mara Van Peebles see the shark 2, maybe 3 times? Because they're researchers in the Bahamas. They're doing their research. The shark comes out, scares the shit out of Lance Guest, so he's frozen stiff. Doesn't say anything to his wife. I guess we're supposed to lead into the fact that that's making a growing friction between Lance Guest and his wife. But even that's not accomplished that well. And in fact, there's shit like this in novelization that's not even in the movie. Like this whole thing that apparently Lance Guest has set up this beacon thing in the bedroom, but then she unplugged it because she wanted him to sleep, and then that just was not done well. This whole... He should have just told his fucking wife anyway. It wouldn't make sense not to tell his fucking wife. Just please don't tell my mom, but I need to find out what's going on. There you go. It's just there to have out of the blue scenes like this playful banter where the wife has a welding mask and Lance Guest says something to the effect of, "I never made love to an angry welder before." Just lousy dialogue. And really until the third act, really nothing much happens. It's a fairly boring, at best, I don't know if I'd call it mediocre, with Lorraine Gary, who's not a star. I'm sorry, she works better in supporting roles as the lead, and she had not worked since 1941, the Steven Spielberg movie, which came out in the late 70s. So she had not worked for a while, and so she was a bit rough around the edges, acting-wise. But she wasn't the worst I've seen, no. And then as I watch this, I'm going, Lance Guest is really nothing to his character, but I like the actor, so he's doing the best that he can. I think Mara Van Peebles has this weak, funky, bad accent. The little girl, I'm more sad that she passed away because of horrible circumstances. And you don't even get a lot shark action-wise. Even Jaws 2, you look at Jaws 2, and you look at scenes like the guy holding to the boat and pulling him so hard that he breaks a piece of the boat, and the stupid girl, blows herself up. At the end, the shark grabs the fucking helicopter, brings it all the way down. Even Jaws 3, where it's wrecking havoc amongst SeaWorld, at least there's stuff happening. Not a whole lot happening here. This has a very small body count. I mean, it really has a body count. Well, if you watch this DVD, too. The guy at the beginning, and then there's this little banana boat where the little girl's on, and the shark's going for her, but it grabs someone else and takes her down. So, 2. So, if you're looking for visceral thrills, it's not going to give you that. If you're looking for body count, it's not going to give you that. If you're looking for blood, well, this series wasn't really meant for that. They're more PG. I mean, this is PG-13. Action is not going to give you that, and it's not that scary, and it's not that suspenseful. And instead, your mind is still being bungled and confused and confuddled about why the fuck this shark is specifically in particular manner going after the Brody family. And again, within the movie, there's no explanation. Even if they did the novel, it'd be stupid. Voodoo magic, man. Fucking voodoo magic. And then the thing that people remember the most, let's think about it, is the ending. Is the finale. Where the dumbest shit happens, and that's what people remember. Okay, I mentioned like there's a couple shark scenes. There's the first time I mentioned the Lance Guest and Mara Van Peebles see it. Then there's a bit where Lance Guest is having this little chase under the water with the shark going after him. And somehow the shark is able to fit into these things that should seem to be really fucking narrow, but this fat ass shark is able to fit in there. And at the end, when the little girl gets attacked on the banana boat. So Lorraine Gary goes off. I don't know to do what. She has no weapons. What's she going to do? Curse at it? Kill it with harsh language? So then Lance Guest and Marvin Peebles get on a smaller boat. I guess they thought they were actually going to catch up to her in this little teeny tiny bathtub of a boat. Thankfully, they go by Michael Caine, how lucky they are. And even Michael Caine's like, what? It'll take you all day to be in that. He has a plane. He sells it down, which seems like a bad idea. The shark wrecks the plane. They get on board, including, yes, Michael Caine. As soon as he gets out of the water, he's completely dry. His shirt is drier than this. He was just in the water, and that shirt is drier than this shirt I'm wearing right now. And all the ridiculous stuff that you hear about is in this finale. The shark, because Marvin Peebles has this pulse thing, and it's somehow just in the shark. Even before then, so many times it will come out of the water, but it's like it's on its tippy toes all the time. Like a dog begging for food. Sharks don't fucking do that, even I know that. And just the way the shark, like imagine the shark is just like up here. How the fuck does it do that? It works out. Maybe it does a lot of Taibo. I don't know. Maybe the shark that knows what the fuck Taibo is. He works out. His fin, his tail fin is particularly strong. Always gets on his tippy toes. And yeah, he roars. Which in the info and trivia and IMDb says it was from a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Because the sound editor said, I'm not putting a fucking roar in a fucking shark that's fucking stupid. I'm just going to use this thing from a Tom and Jerry cartoon. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've read. But it's completely ridiculous looking roar. I don't know why they thought a shark needed to roar in the first place. It sounded like Teen Kong, honestly. Well, mixed with a lion. Marvin Peebles gets bit, and he was supposed to die, and depending which version you see, he dies. In one version, they stab the shark, it's dead, they leave, Marvin Peebles still dead. If you have this DVD, might be on the Blu-ray, I don't know. They hit the shark, it blows up for some fucking reason, and then they find Marvin Peebles alive, because apparently the test audience didn't like that Marvin Peebles' character died. And just so many questions about this ending. How did this come about? How does the shark know where to find you? Why does the shark give a shit about you? Why does it give a shit about the Brodies? None of the voodoo shit and novels in this. Why didn't it stand on his tippy toes? Why is it roaring like a fucking lion, like fucking Teen Kong? Why is Lorraine Gary remembering stuff from the end of the first movie, which she was never a part of? Imagine I'm doing flashback, but I'm remembering the life of John fucking Rambo. It's like, yeah, I've seen that movie too. No, it's not supposed to be a movie. I'm remembering the past life. No, that wouldn't... Lorraine Gary is driving the boat to the shark, and she's thinking of Roy Scheider at the end of the first Jaws. How does she think that? And someone's like, well, he told her. He told her. Because he told her long ago, she don't remember the exact vivid sequences, what happened during the first movie. It just made it seem like she saw the first movie. She saw the first movie on VHS before she went out here. And then when it impales the shark, why does it explode? And the trivia tries to explain some bullshit of, oh yeah, Marvin Peebles dropped some explosive. No, he didn't. I just saw it again. No, he didn't. The only thing in the shark is this thing that gives out these pulse shocks. That's it. It was also meant to, I guess, to track them. I don't remember anywhere showcasing it's a fucking explosive. Even if you were to tell me somehow, some way it is, it got on its tippy toes and she hit the exact same spot that the fucking bomb was at to activate and make it explode. It just all the... And then when the shark goes down dead, it's just shots from the first movie with no head. Or you have the original ending where it just got impaled and it looked funky and goofy anyway. The whole idea... Like, think about this. The second film, we don't fry it. Cool, interesting, different. The third film, there's a body stuck in the mouth. There's a grenade. You get it? Boom. How you gonna do it this way? We stab it. With what? A fucking boat. You know what I'm saying? With a fucking boat? Yeah. Take a pen and stab this piece of paper. It is your unemployment check. Goodbye. Sayonara, pal. Oh my god. And then in this ending, Marvin Peebles is alive, even though he's dead. He's dead as dinner. He's dinner. He's food. He's fish food. But no, he's alive. So then Lorraine Gary gets on a plane with Michael Caine. They leave. The other family is there in the Bahamas. The movie's over. I just is not going to get into the whole fact that apparently the wife was really pissed when Lance Guest left. Because she's like, why didn't you tell us it was a shark? Our daughter almost died. Why didn't you tell us? Does that lead to anything? No. I'm thinking, well, you guys are going to get divorced. It's your ass, Mr. Starfighter. It's your ass. No, that leads to nowhere. Leads to nothing. So it was a bad idea, rush into production, reshoots that didn't make things that better, well, at least with the ending, a boring, plotting, snooze-inducing 2/3, which I like some of the beautiful scenery, I don't mind some of the actors, and some of the music, but again, it's a big bore fest, and then you just have a very goofy, ridiculous conclusion in the third act. And I'll say it again, I'll take Jaws 3D over this any day. Because yeah, the 3D effects are bad, but I like that cast more. I like the idea of a shark in SeaWorld more. It's a more fun idea. And more stuff seems to happen in that movie. Really not much happens in this movie until just the little bits I told you. But somehow this had such a big budget. For some reason. I don't get why. Oh, and then this was the basis for the Jaws Nintendo game for NES. Where you had to collect conch shells and go from point A to point B to power up and then try to fight the shark. And then at the end, when you collected enough stuff to get enough power and then get the shark's energy depleted so far, then you're in this other mini game where you have to stab it. Like in this, you have to stab it. If you do it right, you win the game. So, I actually don't mind that game for what it is. Compared to a lot of games based on stuff on Nintendo, like X-Men and Roger Rabbit, Jaws is more fun of a game than that. And I'd rather play the game than watch this fucking movie again. So yeah, this movie is pretty bad. Pretty bad. And it killed, I mean, you didn't need any more Jaws sequels, but I guess the one good thing it did, it killed the Jaws franchise. So they were not doing any sequels into the 90s. And Jaws 5 doesn't count because it's not a real sequel. It's just the Bruno Mattei ripoff Cruel Jaws, that's sometimes jokingly referred to as Jaws 5. Or in certain markets, whatever. But yeah. Jaws the Revenge. This time, it's personal. If you say so, Scooter. Later.